You're listening to 15 Minutes, where we feature community leaders sharing what the rest of us should know but likely don't. Hi, Chad Franzen here. I am a host of Share Your Voice, where we talk with top-notch law firms and lawyers about what it takes to grow a successful law practice. This episode is brought to you by Gladiator Law Marketing, delivering tailor-made services to help you accomplish your objectives and maximize your growth potential. To have a successful marketing campaign and make sure you're getting the best ROI, your firm needs to have a better website and better content. Gladiator Law Marketing uses artificial intelligence, machine learning, and decades of experience to outperform the competition. To learn more, go to gladiatorlawmarketing.com, where you can schedule a free marketing consultation. Adam Rossen is the founder and CEO of Rossen Law Firm in Fort Lauderdale. Adam always knew he wanted to be a lawyer because he wanted to help people. He truly believes that bad things happen to good people, and he wanted to be the one to help them achieve their best future. Check him out on social media and YouTube at Rossen, R-O-S-S-E-N Law Firm, to hear more about his team's victories in court and to learn more about criminal defense. Adam, thanks so much for joining me today. How are you?
Hey, Chad. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Hey, as I mentioned, you are the founder of Rossen Law Firm. Tell me a little bit about how that got established and what led up to it for you.
Sure, absolutely. So graduated law school way back in 2006, and I completed an internship at the Broward County State Attorney's Office. Loved my time there. And so I said, you know what, I want to be a prosecutor. And I started. They hired about 35 of us there, all at once. I was the first promoted in my class twice before most people were promoted once. And I loved it for a time. I loved being in trial. I loved the camaraderie. We were all, 24, 25 years old. In a way, it was kind of like Grey's Anatomy for prosecutors and public defenders, just, having a great time and trying cases and just being a young lawyer in court every single day. Um, but after about a year and a half, I realized that I wasn't able to help people in the way that I thought I would. There was a lot of bureaucracy in that office, just a lot of things that I wasn't really happy with. And so at 26 years old, with my roommate at the time, we decided to start our own law firm. We had planned for a few months and we thought we knew what we were doing. Of course, we didn't, but that's kind of the excitement and journey of being young and in a way too dumb to fail. And we started our law firm March 1st of 2008. We were partners until 2015. And then in 2015, we decided, he was doing more immigration. I was still doing more criminal. And we just thought it would be best to split the firms. We're still very close to this day. And we rebranded as Rossen Law Firm in 2015. And since then, I really got serious and focused about building a business, about marketing and growing. And we went from, for the 7 years that my old partner and I were together, never even had an employee. We were, we were each other's and our own secretary, our own legal assistants. We were everything. And when we split, I said, all right, I got to get serious about this. And it kind of snowballed. Within a year, I hired somebody and we went from 1 to 2, then 2 to 3, and then from 3 to 6, 6 to 13, and now we're at about 20 employees, in our office, and we've built a really nice criminal defense firm now.
When and how did you know you said you wanted to be an attorney because you wanted to help people? What kind of do you remember like when the light bulb went on that you that was what was going to happen and that was what you wanted to do? And how did that happen?
Right. So I always wanted to be a doctor or a lawyer. I liked both. Both are service-based, professions helping others. But I loved law and order as a kid. I always was a good arguer, but I was also, and a good debater. But I was also a little shy and just didn't know. I kind of had that balance of, and at the time I thought all lawyers were litigators. I didn't realize that actually most lawyers are not litigators. Um, but as I went to high school and went and graduating high school, I really wanted to go into medicine. And I remember at the University of Florida, I believe it was the spring semester of my freshman year, sitting in organic chemistry class and just going, this is not for me. I don't want to do this. And so I ended up dropping chemistry. I think I was taking biology as well. Dropped chemistry, dropped biology, actually withdrew from that semester and said, you know what? I'm going to switch majors and start over. And I really want to go to law school. and be a lawyer. So that was really the moment where it was solidified in my mind.
Great, good for you. Hey, so you were a prosecutor. Take me through a little bit of that transition then. So you're not a prosecutor anymore. What are you mainly focused on now?
Right. So now we do all aspects of criminal defense. State court, we do federal court, white collar, fraud. We have a very busy DUI practice as well. Really anything involving criminal law. Um, we have 6 attorneys right now. We have 2 board certified, attorneys, which is very difficult in the legal field in Florida to become board certified. And so, anything. I look at it as if it's a petty theft shoplifting charge, well, that's not a big case for us or traditionally. However, for the client, that's the biggest thing to them in their world. And a shoplifting charge is a career killer. A shoplift, who's going to hire a thief, right? An alleged a shoplifter, right? Somebody who maybe made a very poor choice in the heat of the moment. But that's something that's a career killer that could literally ruin somebody's life. So it is extremely important. So we look at it as, we love the big cases, we love the small cases, we love the medium cases, we love it all. And we handle it all because we're really in this to be community and relationship builders first and foremost, and then build an amazing, thriving business that can then further our goals to help our.
Would you say that most of the people you work with, in terms of clients, like like you said, potential shop that are people who just found themselves in the wrong situation and made a bad choice, or are they people who are in trouble often?
Right. So everything, I'm a big believer in attract and repel. So everything in our marketing, we attract clients that we want, that we traditionally work best with, and we try to repel the others that we don't. Out of our entire caseload, which is, quite a lot of cases now, I think we have less than 5% of our clients are currently in jail or in custody, meaning that our clients are usually first time or second time people through the system. We've just found that those are the type of clients that we work best with. There's and for the other type of client that's habitually in and out of jail, habitually in and out of prison, there's other lawyers that are the best fit for those clients as well. So our firm's motto is we help good people when bad things happen so they can achieve their best future. And we look at it as a past, present, and future. Good people, right? Past, meaning you've lived a good life. If you made it, I always like to say, you've made it growing up or living in South Florida till your 30s or 40s and it's your first time being arrested, it shows you're a pretty good person because it's very easy to get arrested down here. Something bad obviously happened. That's the present, but why are we doing all of this? So that way our clients can achieve their best future. What are our goals? So that's our firm's motto. We see a lot of mental health and substance abuse, especially in the post-COVID world. Um, and we're very well trained and very in tune with our clients. You know, mental health or substance abuse issues as well. And we have a vast network of therapists, counselors, clinicians that we can refer our clients to.
Okay, great, awesome. Hey, let's talk a little bit more about the growth of your firm and how it kind of got started. You said when you kicked it off with your partner, you were young and you didn't really know what you were doing. Now that you're more experienced and you know more about what you're doing, in what ways would you say you didn't know what you didn't know?
Right. So, I was 26 years old. Our goal was just to make what we were making at the prosecutor's office, which, it was such a low amount um, that it was fairly easy to do just based on referrals. So we did really referral marketing. We were out there. We didn't have a lot of money, but we had time. So I stumbled into some speaking engagements that you know did really well for us. We just tried to be everywhere, anywhere and everywhere we could be. We went to every single bar function, meeting people. Um, that didn't really work so well. I don't particularly like going to bar functions because the lawyers that are there have a more of a closed mindset and they just want to tell you no or tell you how terrible every idea is instead of having a positive growth mindset. um, but some things worked well, some of the speaking gigs that we got and others didn't. um, but they're really that was really it. There, in 2008, Google was around. It was very big. It's not what it is now, but it was there, and it was a big piece of the puzzle. But I looked at those things with a fear-based mentality and from a cost-based mentality of How much is this going to cost? What if it doesn't work? Am I wasting my money? Are we going to lose it all? Um, Instead of the investment mindset, and really thinking about it through that way. And instead of taking, removing the fear to seize an opportunity for growth. And so now we're all about that. And so really a lot of it was just the mindset shift.
What did you do? A lot of attorneys tell me when they first started, they knew everything about law. They were well trained to do law, but in terms of running their own business, that was a bit of a bit of a eye opener. Was that the case for you?
Yeah, I've never, been taught business, didn't go to business school, didn't learn about it in college or in law school. They don't teach us any of those things. I've always liked it, but until about 2015 when I got serious, first it was more about marketing and less about business. Because at that point it was, my buddy wasn't, on one hand I needed to make less because I didn't have to cover the costs of somebody else. But on the other hand, if I had a bad week or if I wasn't bringing in, I had the benefit of having a partner. So without that person to hold my hand and, literally jump into the deep end of the pool with, it all fell on me. So I was just focused on marketing, 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 learn all about it. Podcasts, blogs. I just kind of immersed myself. And really over that year and a half, I feel as though I got a master's degree in marketing and really just kind of self-taught. Well, I was taught by some of the best because books and just learned everything. But in a way, I set the course curriculum and learned it, figured it out. And then once we got the marketing down, then it was about, okay, wow, I have 3 employees now. you know, I need to learn about business. I need to have an employee manual. I need to be a boss, right? And really the last few years have been less about marketing and more about running a successful business and learning how to do.
Did you enjoy the marketing part, and what was most effective? I mean, okay, so you had to, you did the marketing because you had to. Did you enjoy that?
I actually did. I found that I really did. It was kind of like a puzzle, with writing blog posts and Google and just everything being like, okay, this is how the algorithm works, or this is how, what you need to do, and just try it and really see if there's results. And so I realized that I really, really enjoyed it. I always enjoyed practicing law. I love being in a courtroom. But, as of, now in 2023, I don't have a caseload. Um, I don't go to the courthouse. I don't really practice law. I'm still very involved with our lawyers, and I'm involved with the strategy, and I'm involved with the client. I love our client, but I'm not the one going to court 5 days a week. I think last year in 2022, I was actually in the courthouse less than 10 times all year. For a criminal trial lawyer, that's unheard of. We're in court really every single day.
What did you find as you were kind of doing marketing and trying to get yourself out there and promote yourself? What did you find to be the most effective, or would you just say you put it all together and it worked for you?
That's a great question. So, a lot of the internet-based marketing, digital marketing has been really effective for us, but also relationship building and relationship marketing. I've taken some of the ideas that I've had with prior speaking engagements and used it for other, in other avenues. So, for example, about 5 years ago, I heard about some divorce lawyers that really focus their marketing on marriage and family counselors. So I said to myself, well, that's really smart. How can I do the same for private practice, therapists and maybe drug and alcohol, rehab centers and, drug and alcohol counselors? Because there's a need. And, from my dealings in cases with those professionals, they were scared to be involved. They were scared to talk to the lawyer. So I really thought about it. I said, well, how can I love speaking. How can I, give a presentation? And I don't want to come across as though I'm ever just there to, build relationships or get business. How can I actually provide value? So we came up with a lecture topic, basically teaching therapists how they can about the criminal justice system in South Florida. And the whole theme of the lecture was, hey, we're scared of you guys too. You're scared of us, we're scared of you. And the last thing we want is Johnny to see you on Thursday, tell you about the big court date he has on next Tuesday, and then you find out that Johnny went to prison for 5 years and and all you're going to be thinking about is, wow, could I have done more? What could I wish I spoke to the lawyer. I wish the lawyer called me. I would have showed up for Johnny to advocate for his progress. And so we designed a whole lecture series around that, the interplay between therapist and criminal defense attorney. And it went amazingly well. And that opened the door to we have 50 therapists that we can refer to our clients and just further relationships. So it's been a mix of both. As great as the digital marketing is when you know what you're doing and do a good job, sometimes good old fashioned referral marketing and relationship building is just as effective.
Yeah, yeah, sounds good. Hey, when you had your first ever trial, like you got out of law school, I'm sure you were very well prepared, but how did you feel when you got to your first trial and there was like a real judge there and a real attorney that you were going against? How did you kind of
Right.
feel and maintain your nerves?
Well, definitely scared and nervous. I was lucky that during my internship when I was in law school, I actually was able to try 5 jury trials before I even graduated law school. But I second chaired them. I wasn't the lead attorney, but that was an amazing experience. But you never forget your first real trial. So um, at that time, since I was a certified legal intern, I was allowed to do everything that I was able to do after the bar exam. And after the bar exam, it usually takes about 10 weeks or so, 10, 12 weeks to get your bar results. So the day the bar results came out, I actually had my first real jury trial. And the bar results came out at 10 a.m. or so. And I remember, everybody in my group was getting their bar results, running back from court. And I said, I'm like, guys, I'm in trial. I'll check at 6 o'clock that night. I'm like, I'm focused on this. I certainly don't want to find out my results and have to go back to a trial and everything. So I went through it, thinking about all those things. In that case, I got my butt whooped by a much more experienced attorney. Um, and that process really helped you. I've learned so much more from getting my butt whooped than from my successes. It was a case I should have won, but just didn't have the experience to win it, and they couldn't see and anticipate their defenses. So that was really bad. I was disappointed. You always and even to this day, I was a high school basketball coach and a pretty good player, and I would always get not really the nerves, but the anticipation. Waiting for the jump ball, going through warm ups, and just being like, "All right, let's go already." Same thing in a jury trial. It's really not nerves. It's just like, all right, jury selection takes so long. Like, let's go, let's go. I want to get up and give an opening, statement. I want to get up and grill that witness. So it's really just the anticipation of waiting. But once we got through that on that day, I was disappointed I lost. But I went home and kind of in the quiet solitude by myself, I saw my bar results and I passed. I was very happy. So that was a great ending to the day of having first real trial, and then finding out, losing, being disappointed, but then finding out that I passed the bar.
As Rossen law firm has kind of grown and evolved, and your career has continued, are there some milestones or some times that you look back on that you're particularly proud of?
Yes. So I am very, very, very proud of the way my firm handled COVID. Um, I still think I'm pretty young, but at the same time, I've been around long enough to at least see some trends and see, kind of fluctuations in the economy and in business. And, I started my firm originally March 1st, 2008. And everybody, there was a major recession that happened later that year, right? The Great Recession. And everybody said, "Well, how you doing?" Back then, I'm like, "We're doing okay because we don't really know anything anything better. We're surviving. It's okay." But in 2020, what I realized early on was that I believe when everybody zigs, you should zag. So when everybody's buying, you should sell, and everybody was laying people off. I think freaking out, overreacting. I mean, we had pretty much closed down for 3 days, and people were laying off 30% of their force or asking people to take pay cuts. It hadn't even been, weeks yet. And so we had just grown to a team of 6. And for criminal law, having 2 lawyers and a team of 6 is quite large in South Florida. Criminal lawyers don't traditionally build big firms. And my payroll was the highest it had ever been at that point. And it was a little scary and nervous. And we had 3 employees that had been with us less than 90 days. but I liked them and they provided value. And I believe in being a great leader. So I told everybody, I said, look, we're good. We're going to be fine. And literally for criminal law, the world shut down. If people aren't out partying, there's no people getting arrested. There's no business. Um, so what we did is we pivoted in a way. We had 3 legal assistants and a marketing director in house. And our 2 new legal assistants, we converted to marketing assistants. And every major project that I wanted to do for years, I said, we're just going to work from home and grind these projects out. And we started to, and it really started to build momentum. And then that summer, usually every summer we take on 2 or 3 interns. And that summer we took on 13 interns virtually by Zoom because everybody lost their internships with judges and law firms and different things. And I said, if we're really community and relationship builders, it's our ethical and moral obligation to bring in all of these interns. And we gave them an amazing experience. We still had, Zoom court had started by May of that year. So they would see our depositions in our court on Zoom. We would speak, me and my partner Manny, the other attorney, we would speak with them. We would, give scenarios. Then the George Floyd murder happened, and I emailed everybody and I said, next Wednesday from 1 to 5, we have a project. I'm not telling you anything until 1 o'clock next Wednesday. And I wrote up a law school fact pattern saying that we were hired to represent the police officer, Derek Chauvin, who was George Floyd's killer. So I made sure to take the hard approach. And I said, these are the Minnesota laws. Tell me how we're going to win his case. Don't take the easy road out. Right. And you have 4 hours from 1 to 5 o'clock. Go. And we ranked them just against each other on a curve, just like law school. And it was an amazing experience. And we did that. And it was great. I mean, we had high schoolers, college, and law students. And so, and then we also used them as content writers. So we'd give them topics to learn about and write, and they would, then of course we would edit it and go. But they did a lot of the grunt work of getting us, getting our writing there. And I think we added about 30 or 40,000 words to the website. So I'm very proud of all of those things, of really just how we handled COVID. We got our PPP loan. I remember the first one when we got that, I was in the office by myself, and I just cried, tears of joy because we needed it so bad, and it helped tremendously. And from all of those things, it really put the firm, which was doing well, on a hockey stick level trajectory of growth. And that really helped us and launched us into 2021 to scale and to go from 6 to 13 employees in 1 year.
Yeah, that sounds great. Did you feel, or did the defenders who were defending Adam Chavin follow the principles that were suggested by all the people that you were working with? Did you feel like that was actually a winnable case? I mean, obviously, I was kind of rooting against him, but maybe from a
Right.
criminal attorney perspective, did you feel like that was a winnable case to begin with?
No, no, it was. I did not. I mean, it was a very tough case, but also, the video really, without that video, the case would have been completely different. But no, it was a very, very hard case, and I wanted our interns to have that exercise of think through discomfort, advocate, argue, come up with something, and their thoughts and ideas were very creative, and it was also, it wasn't just about the thoughts and ideas, but it was about, well, why, right? So you want to argue this as a defense. Well, why did you choose that? Walk me through how you're trying to maybe attack the statutes and the law, not necessarily condone the behavior, but say, hey, it doesn't apply to murder, right? Maybe it was a manslaughter, maybe it was something lesser, but it wasn't counts of murder, and really try to work through and really attack the statute. So they all did a really good job.
Okay, yeah, sounds great. Hey, I have one more question for you, but first, tell me how people can find out more about Rossen Law Firm.
Sure. I mean, we like to be everywhere, so we're on all social media at Rossen Law Firm. We're on YouTube. We have a great YouTube channel with lots of informational videos. We have an amazing website as well, RossenLawFirm.com. So really, just Google us. It's 2 S's, Rossen Law Firm, and we tend to be everywhere. So you can't avoid us.
Okay, great. Hey, last question for you. At the risk of putting you on the spot, who has been a mentor for you? And if you can think of some of the best advice you received, what would that be?
Sure. So I'm very fortunate. One of my goals over the last 5 years or so was to seek out and develop mentors. And I have quite a few now. I've joined some various coaching groups and and having that sounding board, because when I was a kid, being a pretty good athlete, playing, really high level basketball and then coaching and just going through life, I always wanted more mentors and didn't really have them. So that's been a huge goal of mine. So one of the groups that I'm in is Great Legal Marketing, and I've known Ben Glass and Charlie Mann for a long time, and I consider both of them to be really close, not just friends, but personal mentors. I'm in some other groups as well, and just really, I'd say I'm so blessed to have maybe about 7 or 8, real mentors that I can call or text at any point and hop on the phone. Just this morning, I had a 20-30 minute call with we run our firm on EOS, which is from the book Traction by Gino Wickman, the Entrepreneur Operating System. And we have an EOS implementer or EOS coach. And, I had a 30-minute call with him, just texted him, and he's like, yeah, I can talk. And we just talked and we ran through some things in advance of our 2-day annual retreat that's coming up next month. And just, somebody like Caesar, who is internationally known for his business acumen and his coaching, to be able to just, hit him up at any point and do that. I'm so lucky, but I made those deliberate choices to seek that out. So I have about, 8 to 10 mentors that are really close, and really near and dear to my heart.
Okay, very cool. Hey, Adam, it's been great to talk to you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Chad. It's been great.
So long, everybody. Thanks for listening to 15 Minutes. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.